Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome. It would be a great welcome if you could actually see us. And there we are. Welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Every week we take you through some topic in the pop culture space. I'm Kathy along with my brother Kenny. Dead air. Okay. Hello and good evening. I still can't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry. You know
Can you
what?
hear me? Can you hear me
I
out there?
now I
And
have you because you know what? I had to mute you because you were having a phone conversation, and I wasn't sure whether that would come through when the pre-show music was playing. Which, by the
no,
way, I
I cut the
I
conversation.
okay, I actually did a pre-show for today, Women in Action, but I know I had to change up the thumbnail with the help of Doc Rock, so we had a new thumbnail and probably a new direction of maybe just calling ourselves Pop Culture Kids as opposed to Captain Ken Explain Pop Culture because that's the YouTube tag that you can find our channel on anyway. But we'll talk more about that and what our branding will be. How
Okay,
are
I'm,
you?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
You're here for all of it. All right,
I'm here for all of it. So let's just do it.
let's
Okay,
just do it.
so
So
my beard can never straighten out enough for me, and I'm always straightening it out. Okay, so how was the play?
oh, the play was great. Actually, it's so funny. We've done 6 shows already, 3 more to go. So we're 2/3 of the way through. So that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, one of Jordan Spears, uh, who has been performing in the role of Adeline, evidently she's going to Germany, but Renetta is coming back to the show. So this was her last show. And you know what's so funny? Like usually Saturday night is like, the loose audience and, they also serve alcohol and adult beverages at the
Woohoo!
venue because it's a very small venue, the Fireman's Kitchen. So you expect the Saturday night crowd to be kind of like the loose, getting all the jokes, doing all the laughing. They were a little stiff. The Saturday night crowd was like a Sunday church crowd. Meanwhile, the Sunday afternoon crowd was they were off the chain. They really seemed to enjoy it. They got a lot of the laughs. Our cousin was there, Sharon and Jeffrey. Miss Summers came out, and plus and Sharon, she can't do anything small. It's like, yeah, it wasn't just her and Jeffrey. She had some friends of hers from Greensboro. They drove all the way from Greensboro to Hickory to see the show. So afterwards, there were about 9 or 10 of us. We went and had dinner at a seafood place in Hickory that was actually owned by my real estate agent. So that was kind of cool. But in any case,
Wow.
it was the show's been going well. It's really fun. I'm probably gonna be depressed next week because then it all comes to an end, and you'll have that post performing letdown kind of thing. But it's been all good in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
so that's good. We're gonna move on to pop culture news. We
Pop
got a couple things about
a
culture
couple
news.
things to talk about in pop culture
Couple things
news.
to
I
talk
can't
about in
find the
pop
right
culture
button
news.
for it though, but hopefully I'll
Okay.
find it.
So
So
first,
oh wait a minute. Okay, first things first.
first things first, we have a lesson for brothers who think they want to attack an ex-football star. Cam Newton was attacked at one of his events,
Mhm.
and he was jumped. And the thing about it is that you can't go to a guy who's used to being hit by 300-pound men and think you're just going to automatically beat him up. So he wound up with one guy in a headlock and knocking one guy out or one guy down or whatever he did. But by the time security came there, Cam Newton had it handled. And you got to see the video. Check it out online. You got to see the video, and it is hilarious.
You were telling me about
So
it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even. I'm in North Carolina, and he plays for like the Panthers, so I should know about this, and I didn't hear it at all. But again, I've been in Play World, so uh, good evening, cousin Lisa's listening. Good evening to you.
hey, Lisa, how you doing, baby?
are having a
Um,
great evening.
so next we have the passing of a great comic, Richard Lewis, passed at the age of 76.
Oh yeah.
And weird enough, his last appearance on the TV show that he's on, ah,
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yes, it just I drew a blank right there. His last appearance on Curb Your Enthusiasm was him talking about him dying and
Oh.
where his money's going to go when he dies.
Oh man.
So it's kind of eerie, kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Guess what's coming in July?
What is coming? Oh, I know because I saw the notes.
Yeah, Bad Boys 4 is coming in
Bad
July.
Boys 4.
And the
And
gentleman
I
that played
hope.
it,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the gentleman that played his son, at the end, the post credit scene was, him telling his son that we have a way for you to work off some of this civil debt that you have to pay, of course. So he's going to be in this also, I guess, helping them out and solving a crime or whatever.
Well, I hope Martin Lawrence is doing a little better because he didn't look that good on the
The third
Grammy
one, he didn't.
on
He
the
didn't.
Emmys. It was like, oh wait, he looked like them last couple episodes of Martin, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. He was kind of rocking the whole. I don't know. I don't know my lines, but I'll just hang out here.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have the biggest scam of I guess, iconic film. So somewhere in Scotland, someone was selling tickets to a Willy Wonka experience for $40 a seat, $40 a ticket. And the scam was and then you got to see the pictures of it, the pictures online. I wish I told you to show the pictures, but when people got there, it was a warehouse
Mm-hmm.
with like pictures.
I lost your
It was a
sound.
very hollow warehouse,
Okay.
and you walk to this warehouse thinking you're going to get a whole Willy Wonka experience, and it was one room with a couple of tables and some posters
Ah,
for forty
yikes. How
dollars.
much they pay for that?
$40 a ticket.
Yikes.
I'd be hot, hot. The fact that we didn't hear about anybody getting beat up or murdered, that no black people fell for this was, if I'd have came there and looked, things would happen. So Madonna was asked to remove. Okay, in her concerts, I guess Madonna does this tribute to celebrities who passed of AIDS,
Mm.
and I guess she assumed that Luther Vandross passed of AIDS.
Don't
So
assume.
she had Luther Vandross in the picture tribute, and she was asked to remove Luther Vandross because he did not die of AIDS. He died from a stroke.
Ah,
Complications from a stroke a couple of years after he had the stroke.
making some assumptions.
Mm.
What else do you got in the news?
Um, Here's something that scares even me. Drew Barrymore
Mm-hmm.
called out her daughter for wearing a tube top. And the daughter said, Mom, how you gonna talk to me when you pose for Playboy?
Ouch.
Yeah.
So,
I did a lot of dirt in my younger years that I do not want my kids to know about because I don't want that backlash.
yikes.
I
So,
want none of that backlash.
Drew
And the
Barry,
last
no
thing on our
more.
list is Malia Obama is now a director. And she was at the Cannes Arts Fair, whatever, and
And
she debuted
Cannes Film Festival.
the Cannes Film Festival, yes, and she was at the debut of her directorial debut of The Heart. Is the name of the movie. But the thing about what she's doing is it's kind of like what Nicolas Cage did. She kind of changed her name for performing, and she changed her name to Malia Ann. So
Oh,
she's used
okay.
her first name and the middle name, and she's not using the Obama name because she wants to make it
Well, that's
on her own.
like a lot of, I guess, a lot of celebrities too wind up changing
Yeah,
their names as something that sounds
yeah,
better.
a lot of people do that.
Yusuf
A
was
lot of
saying
a lot of
that
celebrities do that. They want
it
to make it
was
on their own merit.
yeah, that he did have a stroke. It was due to his diabetes. So, you know,
Yes,
Madonna had to come correct because she was
come correct.
making
Now
some.
there was something else that I meant to send you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if we could do YouTube videos,
Okay.
but there's this YouTube video circulating around, and if you see it,
Mm-hmm.
you have got to. It's so hilarious. Have you ever seen a YouTube video of the little girl in the red, white, and blue dress singing the national anthem at a basketball game?
And actually, it's so funny you mentioned this because another show, and I need to put it in our on our site because I know it's like certain channels we can recommend. And I know we recommend affiliated. Our good friend Stephen Hay Archer is a part of Nerd Affiliated. Also, I put down as a recommendation the VHS Club because they review old movies from the 80s and 90s every Thursday night. And that's a fun show. So you should check that out. But also, I say we should give a recommendation for Boozing with Gays. And they air on Friday nights. And if you checked out their Friday night show, they actually did have a clip of the little girl. And they always put the disclaimer at the top of their show, too, that any use of images or video is strictly for as a copy strictly for the purposes of information and news gathering and not an attempt to claim any copyright on the material. But they actually did show the little
Did you
girl,
see that?
and
Is that hilarious?
they also contrasted with I forgot the name of the group, but it was
Fergie?
these four young African American kids who were actually singing the national anthem in harmony more appropriately as opposed to this girl who was, I don't know, doing, doing something like she was out of out of Star Search,
When
and
she was trying to get when she was trying to get the notes, and she was putting her head up in the air like this, like she was
like,
doing
oh, let me
something.
see if I can find the notes. It's like, oh, oh, oh. But
Oh man,
it's
I
like
had to watch that video.
that was like that child has
I
been
had to watch
doing
that
one too
video
many
like five
pageants, and
times.
that's a daggone shame. That's all I'm
I had to
saying.
watch that video like 5 times. You know what the best thing to do? The
Hmm.
best thing is to go on TikTok and watch the reactions of other people looking at this video. And that is when people do the dual thing on TikTok and other people's reactions, man. I want to do a reaction video myself for that one, but it's so overused now because everybody's seen it. And it's just
Hmm.
like, wow. Somebody knows this kid. This is nepotism at its greatest because this is some kid's grandkid or niece or daughter or like, there's no way. Somebody souped this girl up to read the national anthem. And I don't know how the basketball players kept a straight face because I wouldn't. They're better than me. I wouldn't have been able to keep a straight face. It's hilarious. If you never got to see it,
So
please go
check
on
it out.
TikTok
And I
and YouTube and
forgot
check
her
it out.
name, but yeah, some kid on YouTube. And
This
I
kid,
think
this kid
Lisa had made
is
a
not
comment
working
earlier
on
about
it.
my makeup, and that's probably because I didn't take off my makeup for, from the show. I just at the end we have to kind of dress up, and I didn't take it off, but and I didn't put on my T-shirt, my Kathy and Kenny T-shirt either. So
That's
I
okay.
apologize. I'm just living that kind of life. All
One
right.
of us is representing. That's okay.
Okay, you're representing.
You need,
That's
you
all
need
right.
to
You're
show. You need to
representing for
show
the both
them.
of us. So
You
that's
need to show everybody the picture that you posted on your um, Instagram and Facebook of you in the blue dress. You need to flash that
oh,
picture.
it's purple.
That
It's
that was
I
that
get
was
to
a
wear
great
a
picture.
purple sequin gown and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's purple.
it's so not me, but I get to wear it and um
It was nice. It look. You look fabulous in it.
oh, thank you. Oh my. I don't know how to even take a compliment. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. I can see that.
huh?
I can see that.
I know. It was just
Well, good looks runs in the family. Style runs in the family.
Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it.
Okay.
Um, oh wait, here it is. I think I can. Let's see. Up, that's me in the purple dress.
Yes, doesn't she look fantastic, ladies and gentlemen? My sister in the purple dress. She looks fantastic.
But I just love that costume too because that was just yeah, it was everything. It's like oh,
Hey, Deja, how you doing? Deja's in the house.
hey, Deja in the house. As I try to click on everything while I don't know. I'm all
I'm glad you were able to tune in too.
um. All right. So let's get this party started.
Let's get started. Let's get started. So we're talking about women in action movies, and we kind of picked out the best action movie females
Okay.
that you would see in these movies. And we're going to go from the bottom and work our way up. This is a list that I made, looking at various sources, and not every action movie female is in my list. So if there's somebody I forget, please make sure you do it in the comments and let us know. Okay, we're going to start with Gal Gadot. And Gal Gadot, of course, as we know, was in Wonder Woman, Justice League, the Fast and Furious franchise, because apparently she died, but in the last Fast and Furious franchise, she came back alive. And she was also on a really good show on Netflix, and the name of it kind of escapes my memory, but it was a good movie on Netflix that she just did last year. That was really good.
That was an action movie.
It was an action movie. Yes,
Okay.
she was very badass in this
Now
movie.
I know everybody, hates the Josh Whedon Justice League, but I really liked it, and I just liked the little bits of humor in it because it reminded me of Buffy and the whole Buffy verse thing.
Yeah,
But
that's I
I
still
love the line she has where she's like, "I work with children," because they're like, and she's trying to.
I'm going to tell you that was decent. It was bad, but like we've talked about this before, Zack Snyder cut was long, but it was good. It was more in depth, and it was actually way better than the Josh Whedon version.
Okay, that was for that long cut, I guess, was for the true nerds, and I guess I just wasn't nerdy enough
Yeah,
because,
it
yeah, I
was. The
just,
long cut was way better.
yeah.
So next we'll go to Holly Berry.
Holly Berry,
Holly Berry, who
excellent
was
choice.
Catwoman. I forgot to put
Ah,
that on our list. She was Catwoman.
Catwoman, yes, she
And
was
us nerds
Catwoman.
like to forget that Catwoman movie because it wasn't good at all.
And
Storm in the X-Men franchise. She was in a James Bond movie, Die Another Day, which wasn't really a good James Bond movie, but she was in there. She was an action star in that.
can
And
I make a
John Wick. I
confession?
love the
Oh,
character in John Wick because she had these two dogs, and she would fight with the dogs, and the dogs would attack you, and she would shoot you. It was great.
which John Wick was she in?
Three.
John Wick 3? Okay.
John
Because
Wick
I,
three.
I think I started watching the first one, but I was watching it on one of those like Freeview or Freevee or whatever and it has commercials in it. And I'm like, oh, I need to wait till it comes on a streaming service that I can watch it without commercials because I just have no patience for commercial. And I
Yeah.
mean, I watch
Yeah.
TV with commercials. I get
You
it.
know what? I think it's the way we're streaming, the way we're built. Because the other day downstairs, Dad had on the new Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington, and I've seen the movie countless times before because it's one of my favorite movies. But commercials kept coming in, and I'm like, this is not the time to show a commercial right before the shootout. It's
Yeah,
not the time to show a commercial.
I know.
Like this one
I think
shootouts.
we've become spoiled as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
TV.
Next we have Charlene Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. I'm sorry, Charlize Theron, who that right there is from Mad Max movie that she
Yeah.
did. She was
Yeah.
in Hancock, The Italian Job, Eon Flux, and she's also part of the Fast and Furious franchise too.
Oh God. Are all your action women in? I know, like, there's about five of them on this list. I think that are in some form, shape, or form
Look,
in the Fast and
look,
Furious.
I can't. I have no saying that. I have no say in that. This is what happens. Okay.
That all good action is based on the Fast and Furious, which is, as we all know, Point Break with cars.
Okay. You know what? Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go.
It's the
Let
truth.
it go. Let it go. So next we have Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer
Oh,
Lawrence was in
mhm.
the Hunger Games, so we can't leave her out because she did like three Hunger Game movies, and I did not watch the second and third one because I really didn't like the first.
Mockingjay. Well, actually, oops, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Actually, I think um, there were four movies altogether: Hunger Games, Catching Fire, um, Mocking Mockingjay 1 and 2, and they actually, I think they were kind of milking the franchise
Yeah,
because it was one
I
book, but they made two different movies out of it.
yeah,
But
and I
it's fun.
couldn't get past. I couldn't get past the first one. The first one to me was kind of, eh, okay. I wasted 2 hours watching this.
Well, see,
So she was
I
also
guess,
in the X Men though,
I
and I
guess,
wasn't too crazy for her role in the X Men because she played a character who in the books is blue,
mhm.
but for most of the movie, I guess it's vanity. I don't know if vanity had anything to do with it, but she wasn't the blue Mystique character throughout the movie. She was
I
Jennifer
thought
Lawrence.
I thought the Mystique was played by somebody else.
Yeah, the first movie was played by Rebecca Ramos
Rebecca
and
Romaine Stamos.
Romaine. Yeah, Ramos. Yeah, and then now Jennifer Lawrence. I'm getting all kind of names wrong today. And
Mhm.
Jennifer Lawrence played in the next set of movies when they try to reboot and do a different
Okay.
Professor X and everything else. So, but the thing of it is that you know, in the first two movies, where Rebecca Raymond in it, she was
Rebecca Romaine.
blue. Romaine, Rebecca. I keep getting the name wrong. She was blue the whole time when she wasn't turning into somebody else.
Mhm.
But in this one, Jennifer Lawrence was Jennifer Lawrence and didn't always turn blue. It was like she was
But I
always in
thought her
changing
character was.
form.
I thought she was a different character. Because wasn't
No,
she
she
the
was.
one that was with Wolverine
Yeah,
when
she was.
Mystique
No, that was Anna
and a
Paquin.
Paquin? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
she was
sorry, I'm
Anna
getting
Paquin.
confused. All right.
Yeah, she was getting confused.
So,
Stop trying to
but
say all white
Jennifer
women are like.
Lawrence, what not so much act. Well, I mean, being the Mockingjay, being Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen was just a great example of just women in action and being that action character. But the thing with that is the books. Again, the book is always so much better, but I think they did a really good job of keeping kind of true to the book. The only thing I just think they might have just went a step too far is kind of dragging that last book out into two movies. I don't think it warranted two movies, but hey, I'm not a big Hollywood producer yet, so I don't know. But maybe that is the way to go. Who knows?
Okay, well, next we have Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu.
Now, Lucy Liu was in Kill Bill, and her scene in Kill Bill was just
Oh,
phenomenal.
her scene in Kill Bill just like
Was
brings the
just
house down.
yeah, that was all epic. The Man with the Iron Fist,
Mm.
and she was in Charlie's Angels, all
Charlie's
three Charlie's
Angels.
Angels.
Mm.
The first two Charlie's Angels, I believe,
Now,
and
wait,
she
did you? I don't think the other Charlie's Angels are on this list. Who else? Because I know
they
Judy.
really didn't do. When I heard Charlie's Angels, one Charlie's Angel was Drew Barrymore.
Hmm.
Drew
Who
Barrymore
was
doesn't
the
have a
other
lot of
angel?
action, and the other Barrymore, the other one was uh oh man, and I see her face and everything. She was in the mask. She was in uh her shoes. In her
Oh,
shoes,
Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz. And
And
Cameron Diaz has really not done a lot of action things.
oh,
Like I
okay,
can't put everybody just because they was in one action movie. I can't put everybody on the list.
right, okay. But Lucy Liu kind of
Yes,
has done more
Lucy
than
Liu
one
is one of
action.
the few.
Now,
action movie, so
here's
she
the big
she won.
question: was she in the Fast and Furious?
No,
Okay,
no.
just checking.
Next, we have Scarlett Johansson, who was in the
Oh,
Avengers franchise.
hmm
She was in the being in the Avengers franchise. She had her own movie, Black Widow, and she was
which
also in
I
the movie
now did
Lucy.
you watch Black Widow? Was it as
Yeah,
bad as people were saying? Because I got to be honest, I didn't see it.
yeah. I did see Black Widow. That's pretty much 2 hours I'll never get back. But you know,
Ooh, there's your rating. There's your review. But
there's
what
my
else?
review right there.
But what else?
Not look. We can't all be tens.
Hmm
They can't all be tens. So Marvel has learned that every movie they put out cannot always be a 10. Marvel has done some bad movies that should not have been released.
And
And they've
again,
done
I
some
think
bad
part
TV
of it
shows
happens
that should not
when people are trying to milk the franchise. We're trying to get as
yeah,
much money because they know if you release a Marvel movie, the
everybody
core
will come.
hardcore fanboys are going to come out and going to support it. But
Well,
you got to put out a quality product.
Marvel now has Deadpool coming out in July, which a lot of people are looking forward to. It's Ryan Reynolds.
Mhm.
He's truly into the character of Deadpool, so I have no doubt that that will be a good movie. But
But
after
is it
that, Marvel doesn't have anything coming out until 2025, which I think is good for them because I think they need a break. The studio itself the audience needs a break from the studio. And the studio needs a break from the audience. They need to slow down their momentum and go back to the formula that they were doing before that made people happy. Right now, they're just putting stuff out because they put TV shows out now, and the Echo TV show was total trash. Secret Invasion with Samuel Jackson was total trash. So people are starting to lose faith in the Marvel formula now because now lately they're putting out things because they're saying, "Oh yeah, well it's Marvel, they're gonna go see it,"
right?
you know.
So
So next on the list,
so the formula. I'm sorry. So I know Scarlett Johansson is a part of the Marvel, but as far as action though, has she really done a lot of action movies?
I mean, she's done at least 5 Avengers movies, so that to me that counts. And she's done the Iron Man movies and everything else. And she did Lucy.
Oh, is that the one where she was like a robot, like
Yeah, she was some
or
kind of like computer. I've seen it once, and it just didn't resonate with me. But there was some good action in it. Yes.
hmm
So let's put Scarlett. We'll go put Scarlett there because the next person on our list is only really known for one
action
main
role?
action film, but it's one of those things where we have another person at the top of our list who's only known for one main action film,
But
but it
the
kind of
rest is
makes it like an
legacy.
icon action film. So Linda Hamilton, who
Linda
I got
Hamilton.
a chance to meet personally at a comic book convention, and let me tell you, this woman is so warm and nice.
Oh, that's
This
cool.
woman is so. I was wondering why Linda Hamilton had such a long line at the comic book convention, and it wasn't because a lot of people wanted to see her, which they did, but her line was so long because every person she talked to. She didn't just say, "Hey, how you doing?" and sign paper and keep it moving. She like when I was talking to her, she grabbed both my hands and moved me in close, and like, "Oh wow, that's great," and how you doing, and yada yada yada. And I know I'm good looking, but I'm not that good looking. But she was
Okay. All right.
but
Delusions.
she was very sweet. She's very nice. She's very personable, and she, you get to meet at these comic book conventions I go to. You get to meet a few celebrities, and some of them you could tell in real life are assholes, and some you could tell are really down to earth people. And she was one of those people you could tell was a down to earth person. Like when I met Anthony Michael Hall, he was very. I made him laugh because I'm like, everybody knows the Breakfast Club, everybody knows 16 Candles. But I'm gonna tell you, buddy, Weird Science is my movie. And he's like, he just cracked up, And when I met C. Thomas Howell, I said the same thing. Everybody knows The Outsiders, everybody knows this movie. But let me tell you, what you did in Soul Man was hilarious, and I love that movie, and I love the scene you did with James Earl Jones at the end. And he's
Now,
like, "Oh man, I'm glad you got that."
actually, Is it C. Thomas Howell? I gotta look it up because I'm thinking the movie I loved him in is a movie called That Night. Look it
I
up.
never seen that one.
Huh?
I never seen that one.
It's I think it's C. Thomas Howell, Juliette Lewis, and a young Elijah Dushku, but that is such a good
Really?
movie and it has a killer
Is it like
soundtrack.
a '90s movie? Or is it an '80s movie?
It's eight it might be early 90s or mid 90s. It might be mid 90s. But before we move on the list, let me move on to just a few quick things to remind you to check us out online at kathyandkenny.com, where you can see information about the podcast. This is a video podcast that you can check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to give us that thumbs up. And if you subscribe, hit the bell notifications. You can know when we go live. Usually we're Saturday night live or not Saturday night live, but you get the feeling. But because of the play I'm in, we were going live on Sundays, last Sunday, this Sunday, and next Sunday. Then we'll be back on our regular Saturday schedule. Or if Sunday works, hey, we might stick to Sundays and kick it. Guys, let us know. Go to our page, let us know. You can also hear us on Who's Got Next Radio that airs on Tuesdays. But most importantly, just thank you guys for hanging out with me and my brother as we talk all things pop culture. All right. I got it in and I actually had the right frame that time.
Yeah, nice, nice, nice.
Because,
I'm like a
sometimes I
horse. I like
forget.
that. Right?
What'd you
So
say?
we're gonna go. We're gonna go to our next person, and this is Michelle Yee, rather.
Uh huh.
Wow, this woman is phenomenal.
You,
Tomorrow Never Dies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Shanghai, Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. This woman is an like action legend, and she should probably be higher on this list. But it is what it is. It's just the way I put it together. But she
I was about to say,
is.
you control the list, so you can make her higher.
I know, I know. It's my fault. But she is. Have you ever seen Everything, Everywhere, All at Once?
You know what? Actually, and okay, here's a little pro tip. And for those of you, I know everybody streams everything now all the time, but every once in a while, if there's a movie, you want to watch it when you want to watch it, whether you're watching it in your gaming system or wherever. So if you want to get movies that are relatively cheap, the little like CDs, uh, Redbox, Redbox, they're still around. You can still find a good Redbox. And a lot of times, if a movie comes out and you can't wait for it to come to your streaming platform, you can rent it for like $2 or $3. But also, they have all those movies in those discs. A lot of times, they'll sell them for like $5 or cheaper. So I actually got a copy of Everything Everywhere All at Once in the red box from the red box, but I have not sat down to watch it. And that was before the move. And now that I've moved, it is somewhere in this house or in the garage. And hopefully if I ever put my like hands on it, I can actually watch that movie. I'm not sure what streaming platform it's on. I probably could watch it on a streaming platform by now, but I actually have the CD somewhere
Nice,
in this
nice,
house.
nice,
But
nice.
did
It's a
you
good
see it?
movie. It's a very good movie. Yes, I saw it. I
Okay,
saw
so
it.
it's worth the watch.
It's worth the watch. Yes.
Okay, and it
It's a
seems like
very
one of
good
those
movie.
movies that you have to kind of pay attention to
Yeah, you do. You have
and
to pay
and
attention
follow.
to it. You have to follow it. It's very like. Next, I'm going to go to someone who I'm going to consider the queen of female action stars. I'm going to pin this name on her right now. We're going to talk about Pam Grier.
Ah, Pam Grier.
Okay, so I'm going to call her the queen because she was an action star in the early '70s, before female women could be action stars.
Mm.
And you had a few here and there, sprinkled here and there. of women that were in action movies and didn't play the damsel in distress. But we're talking about Jackie Brown, Foxy Brown, Ghost of Mars, and Coffee, of
Coffee. Yeah.
course.
Actually, Jackie Brown was in the 90s, I believe. That
Jackie
was
Brown was in the '90s, yes.
the Quentin Tarantino movie, and I think that was kind of his way of kind of paying homage to like Pam Grier and that whole um,
Yeah.
70s black exploitation type movie deal.
Yes, yes. So Pam Grier, who even at her age now still looks fantastic.
Shout
I
out to
think
Pam
recently
Grier.
she was in um, the L Word, that series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That was on Showtime.
Yes, yes, she was in that series recently. So she's still a force to be reckoned with. Next on our list, we have another Fast and Furious alumni.
Of
Uh,
course. Of course you do. Half the list is Fast and Furious.
no, it's
Come on.
not. It's only three of
Nay,
them. Only three. Only three. So we have
you love
Michelle
you some
Rodriguez.
Fast and Furious. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I do love Fast and Furious. We have Michelle Rodriguez, who was in SWAT, the
Ah,
Resident Evil, Girl Fight, Machete, and of course the Fast and Furious franchise.
Machete.
Where if you ever see a woman driving fast, it used to be you would compare her to Trixie, but now you would compare her to Letty.
Well, you know what? You mentioned she was in Resident Evil. What about wasn't there a woman in that franchise?
Yeah,
Uh, but
and
you
I
didn't
left her out. I don't know
you
why I
you
left her out.
you left her out the list.
I
Okay.
left her out. Yes, I did. I'm
And
sorry.
now is
My bad.
Resident Evil is that based on a comic book or a video game?
I don't think it's based on a comic book so
Okay.
much as
I've
I don't
never
think
seen it. I don't know.
I never if it's I don't do horror. I don't do horror in comic
Okay.
books. I don't do horror in movies.
No,
So
I'm not a
Resident
big
Evil
horror
was
fan
something I
either.
wasn't really quite my thing.
I
I
hear
know, Resident Evil was like, but Michelle Rodriguez was also in Lost. So I think she did some action in TV and Lost and things like that. And mind you, when we do these action females, we're talking about movies. We're not even hitting the TV scene.
Oh no, we didn't even because if you start talking TV, you can go back to like the Bionic Woman. Come on,
Yeah, oh yeah, Lizzie Wagner, the Bionic Woman.
you know
Oh,
the original
on
Charlie.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, on Wonder Woman. You can go back to that.
Oh, that's right, Linda Carter, the original
Linda
Wonder Woman.
Carter, you can go to Wonder Woman. Hey, you can go back to Mod Squad if you want it.
Oh, oh,
Like
now
I,
you
I, I,
take
I dug
Peggy
deep for that
Lipton. Now
one.
you taking it back.
Now I took it back. I'm bringing it back. Bringing it back.
Oh,
So
that.
next on our list we have Zoe Saldana.
Oh wait, is that you?
We have, no, it's something. I hit a button. I hit the
You
wrong
hit a
button.
button. Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
wait, I
we
hear
go back
people
to
talking.
Zoe Saldana
Hmm. Now
uh,
she was in
from
Star
Star Trek.
Trek. Did you see the Star Treks?
Yes, I saw Star
And
Treks.
I guess they won't be making anymore because I know the one guy who they had as was it not Scotty? I forgot his name, but he was a young actor, really good actor, and
Yeah, and he passed away.
he was he
You get
was
somebody. He wasn't that. I mean, you get somebody else to be a Scotty. That's not.
he wasn't Scotty. He was
Yeah, he was Scotty. The guy who passed away, he was Scotty.
oh he was Scotty. Okay,
Yeah,
and
you can
but
get somebody.
really good actor. He was in a movie, and I think the movie is called House of D. Have you ever seen that movie? It was
No,
directed by David Duchovny. Um,
a real,
yeah, because he's an X Files fan. And oh, I got the best news this week. My nephew George, your son, was telling me that he just discovered the X Files, so he's been watching X Files season 1. So hey, as an X File, Phile, that's exciting news. But in any case, David Duchovny directed this movie called House of D. If you get a chance, it's I don't know if I can check and find out if it's on any streaming services, but it's a small, quiet little movie. It starred that kid, and I forgot, I can't think of his name. Also Robin Williams, so like half his cast is dead now, but Erica Badu is in it as well. It is a
wow.
really, really good. little slice of movie, and of course David Duchovny directs and stars in it. But the focus isn't really on him as an adult. It's really supposed to be him as a child, and if you want to get really meta, his then wife at the time was Taya Leone, who you might know from
Okay.
Bad Boys, the first one.
Yes.
Actually plays his mother. So
Tay
that
Leone
took
was also
much.
in. She also played. Tay Leone also played a bit role in League of Their Own. I like Tay Leone. I like her.
Uh,
Yeah.
tell Taya
She was
Leone
in
was
League of
the
Their Own.
league.
Yes.
Was she on the
Yeah.
team?
Yep. She was on the other team.
She was on the other team. Oh, okay.
She was
I
on
got.
the team. She was on the team that Kit got transferred to.
Oh, okay. All
She's in
right.
the credits. Trust me.
I don't remember
But
her name.
also, Zoe was in Avatar, The
Avatar.
Losers, Colombiana, and she's in the Marvel Universe, so she was in the Avengers movie, and she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. And
Ah.
the last Guardians of the Galaxy they did was
Oh,
epic.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was actually
Yeah,
pretty good.
that was actually. Did you see that one?
I did see that's the
Yeah,
one that's the one that started off with the raccoon when he was yeah, actually, you know what? You talked about it, so highly, saying it was the best of all of them that I had to go back and actually and
yeah.
I
I didn't like one and two. I didn't like one and two too much, but three
really
I really loved.
I enjoyed one, and because again it's establishing your characters, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are like, oh, okay, do we have to go through this again, because they do it in every single Spider-Man movie, and it's like, well, damn, if we don't know that Uncle Ben got
Uncle Ben was
killed,
dead. Yeah.
yeah, do we really need to do that again? But in any case, uh, I really liked the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I wasn't as crazy about the second one, but the third one, you are correct. It is really good. So,
I love this scene where they're all going down that hallway and they're fighting off the bad guys in this hallway and they all fight together. I love that's like one of my best scenes in that whole movie. And she was also in a very classic movie, Drumline.
oh, Zoe Saldana was in Drumline. Oh,
Yes,
that's right. She
yep,
was. She was.
she was love interest in Drumline, and she was also in um,
Deja agrees.
yes,
She went to
and
the
I think
Galaxy. It was
she
good.
was also in Guess Who. The black version of Guess Who's Coming
Oh,
to
guess
Dinner,
who? Yeah, yeah.
which
That
I did
wasn't a
not
great
like at
movie.
all.
But now
I
I
didn't. I
did
like
see
Bernie Mac. I like Zoe,
I didn't
but
see
the Guess Who was just
Colombiana.
like, yeah. Zoe, like Guess Who was just like, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
did you see Colombiana?
Yes,
Okay, because I didn't see that one, but
yes.
that
It was a very action packed. It was a very good movie. It's a very
oh,
good movie. It's very action
mm.
packed. I never saw Avatar. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, you never saw Avatar? I
I
actually
never saw
watched
either Avatar.
recently.
I
I
never had the
watched.
urge to see them.
What did you say?
I never had the urge to see them.
Okay, you, and again, I think at first I was kind of treating Avatar almost like I did Titanic. It was like way too much hype. I'm not even going to watch it. And I kind of held fast on Titanic for years. For years. I mean, I think I saw it maybe almost 10 or 15 years after it came out. I actually eventually relented and watched the dang Titanic. Okay, my life hasn't been changed for it. But I had the same kind of attitude about Avatar. It's like sometimes too much hype just takes you totally out of wanting to see the movie. But I think eventually I succumb, or maybe it was on HBO and it just happened because once the movie hits one of those streaming services, and that's the different thing about streaming though. When it's streaming, you get to pick and choose. But when you have cable and you just have a channel, they just show it constantly, 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 constantly. Which I can't complain because that's probably why we're doing this show because we were subject to that
Yes, yes.
in our teens and 20s. So we kind of know all these different movies and actors. But Avatar, when I did eventually watch it, actually, it was not too bad. And actually, it does feature one of our top that we haven't gotten to um, female action stars. And we're highlighting, are we going to highlight the women all month? Because it is Women's History Month. So
Well,
let's
I
just
was thinking next month we would do the best female villains in movies.
ooh. I think some of these same women will be on the list, including the next up. Are you ready to go to the next one?
Yes, Angelique Jolie. I put her at the top of the list because I know you love her, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that's one of the roles that I'm pointing out here, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She was also in Wanted, and she was in Tomb Raider
Tomb
and
Raider
Salt.
and Salt. Yeah. So she can do
Yes.
action. And you know what? She's a weird actress because at first I didn't really like her, but there are a couple movies that one, she's in one of my favorite movies. It's called Playing by Heart. It is an ensemble cast. I've talked about this movie a ton of times. So if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It is pretty good. And I know, okay, yes, I wanted to see it because it starred one of my X Files folks, Gillian Anderson, but Angelina Jolie is in it as well. It's an ensemble cast. Sean Connery and Glenna Rawlins are in it, and they are the highlight. Playing by Heart. That's the name of the movie, Playing by Heart. Very good. And also, she was in a movie, oh gosh, where she played the mental patient, which again, anytime you play a mental patient, i.e., see Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys, you know, you normally can shoot scenery and just, take up all the take up all the oxygen in the room. But oh god, it was starred Winona Ryder. I can't even think of the name of the
Yeah,
movie.
I know what movie you're talking about, and I loved it
Yeah,
because the actress who passed away was also in it.
Brittany
Um,
Murphy.
Brittany Murphy was in it also. Yes,
Brittany
that was
Murphy.
a really good movie.
That yeah, I can't.
And I
Why?
think Brittany Murphy's character wound up dying at the end of that one too.
No, yeah, she died.
Yeah,
I don't think it was the end, but it was in the 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 third act. But in any
yeah,
case, that's what happens when you're in a play. Everything's in like, okay,
and
first act,
yeah,
second act. Anyway, but yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I didn't even want to like this movie. You know why? Because of all the controversy about, oh wait, did he cheat on his wife? Did he, do Jennifer Aniston dirty? And I was like, oh, that's despicable. And oh, but then I actually watched the movie, and I just love that movie. I could probably quote that movie. I'm like,
yeah. Well, you
oh,
got to watch the new TV show on Prime. It's
you
a
know
little
what?
different.
We talked about this one week, and after the show, I actually tried to watch it. Kenny, it was slow.
Yeah, it is slow.
It was a little too slow for me.
It is.
And if
It
you're
is slow.
talking Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're talking action,
Yeah.
uh, and tell me this. And okay, you know what? Spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched the new series, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, then I'm gonna ruin it for you. So I guess leave now. I'm sorry. Oops, I just shrunk myself. I don't know. I shouldn't touch the buttons.
You don't touch the buttons. Don't touch the buttons.
I shouldn't touch the buttons.
Don't touch the buttons.
But here's the thing. At the beginning of that series, was that supposed to be the Mr. and Mrs. Smith from the movie?
I do not know. I do not know. I didn't watch the
Because
whole thing
they
because it
almost
was
had
so
these like
slow.
look-alike kind of actor
Yeah,
things
I didn't watch
going.
the whole thing because it was slow, and I like the original concept of these two spies working for different organizations and getting married and not knowing that they work for different, as opposed to this new series where they work for the same organization and they go in a situation knowing
Right.
that they are like
That
it was
was the
kind of
fun
like,
of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie is like when they find out and
yeah,
uh,
yeah, that's the whole thing of it. So yeah, I like the movie version better.
yeah.
So we have Angelique Jolie
Mhm.
there, and I'm
And
sure
she
she's
also
done some
did
other
Tomb Raider,
action.
which I actually had that video game, but I could never get past there was one room I couldn't get past.
Yeah, I couldn't get back. I couldn't do it either. I didn't like the game.
So and again, I guess that's what makes me a boomer and I'm not a, Gen X or yeah, it's like, hey, boomer,
I'm a Gen X,
because I get
and I
with
that's
certain
insane.
video games, if I can't get past a certain point, I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
get on with living
and
my life. Let me go read a book because
yeah,
this
very
ain't
much so.
working for me. I
The
don't have the
last one,
patience to game.
last on the list. I Now we only know her for one good action movie, but I put her in here as Sigourney Weaver. I put her in this list because
Sigourney.
Sigourney Weaver. I put
I
Pam
thought you
Grier
said
in like
Sojourney.
yeah, well, Sigourney Weaver. I Now Pam Grier to me is like the godmother. Um, I guess I don't know what title to give Sigourney Weaver, but she did the Aliens franchise. And in the modern era, that's the first time you saw a woman in a lead action role as the heroine of a horror movie franchise such as that. And I'm not talking about Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, but this is actually an action sci-fi movie that she was in.
She's also in Avatar as well.
Yeah, she's in Avatar as well. Yes, I've never seen the Avatar movies. For some reason, they don't do anything for me at all.
Hmm. Well,
And
and see, the whole thing with Avatar that I did like or appreciate was what I like about sci-fi. Even though I never thought of myself as a sci-fi person, I think I am a sci-fi person. My favorite author of all time is Octavia Butler, who was a black sci-fi writer and just brilliant, but also dead. And it was so sad. I found that she died. I was reading like her latest book, and it was a start of a series, and then I found out before I got to the end of the book that she died, and it made me so sad, and it took me forever to finish the book. But that's another story for another time. Because I talked to Kenny, we can't do books because I don't know enough about comic books, and he doesn't know enough about other books that I've read. So, but in any case,
wow,
the thing I like about sci-fi is that it is a way to kind of comment on society. If you think about like Star Trek, the original Star Trek, and even the later uh, variations, that they were able to say things about class systems, race systems, and different systems through the context of science fiction, as opposed to coming out and saying, "Hey, you know what? You're treating people of color badly." They could actually have like people of color, blue people, purple people, whatever it is, and make those statements or bring things to light. I don't know. I think you could say things about the social structure with sci-fi. And that's something I think Avatar tries to do, which to me is interesting. So
but that
it
was
is
one of the
worth the
things that
watch for that.
that's one of the things that Star Trek did.
Hmm.
Star Trek showed you a future with aliens and humans working together, and not only just humans, but humans of color, because you had an Asian, a black woman. Excuse me, you had different kind of uh,
Well,
starship.
again, they were trying to picture a world where a world in the future where it wasn't about, you know, it wasn't about race, that you had so much diversity, because ideally you would think that we would reach a point where it doesn't matter, and that you could have all these people of different backgrounds and different genders and different religions and different
You know,
ethnicities.
you know that's actually another show for the future. Alternate worlds or alternate futures are better
Alternate
futures of
futures.
shows like shows. When you talk about Star Trek, you talk about other shows that shows other worlds and other futures on how things should be and the good and bad and everything. We only do five because once you start talking about the world, you kind of
It just gets too complicated. Or actually, even if you like, because even with a movie like the Back to the Future franchise, I think they maxed out at three, because when you start going back and forth and thinking about the future, and it gets all confusing.
yes, yes,
Well, you know what?
yes.
Thinking about
That's it. The
our
second one,
future.
the first one and the third one I liked. The second one was kind of but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I the first one is the OG, so I
yeah.
mean
Well,
that
the
was
third
just
one's pretty.
the first one was the perfect movie. Was the third one the one with the western stuff going
Yes,
on? And
yeah.
yeah, they kind of lost me. I remember watching it. I don't remember rewatching it, and that's the thing. It didn't have that rewatchability. That's what I'm gonna go with. Well, my brother from the same mother, we are
My
at the top of
sister
the
from the
hour,
same mother.
and it's a school night, so I gotta get my butt to bed. Actually, it's not because it's actually a teacher work day tomorrow, but still, got to go
Yeah.
to work. Got to make the donuts. I
Well,
don't have
next
to
week
make
we'll be
donuts.
talking about.
Next week,
Next week we'll be talking about. If you want to join us next Sunday, we'll be talking about female movie villains, and we're going to go to top 10. We're only going to do 10 female movie villains, so we can actually talk about them, and we're going to get the top 10 ones
the
out of the
top
way.
10 female
Female movie
movie
villains, yes,
villains. All right.
yes.
And then after that, we got to go to TV or music because we've been hitting movies
Okay,
hard
and
lately.
after that we could do. We'll go to TV and music, and I'll think about that during the week. But we'll go to TV and music. But we'll do some things with music for women,
But
and then we'll do some things for TV for women.
we'll be highlighting women. And I love this
We'll be
girl.
highlighting women. We highlight women this month.
We will highlight all the amazing things that women do. You wouldn't
Yes,
be here if it wasn't for a woman. Period.
right,
Just
right. And
saying.
I wouldn't be broke if I wouldn't be broke if it wasn't for a woman.
Now, see, you took it there.
when we do female, when we do female villains, we are not going to include any of
No
my exes,
exes. That's right.
including my ex-wife. We're not going to include any of those.
All right.
I know a few female villains that are actually listening to us right now, but it's okay, Deja. It's okay that they're female villains.
No female villains.
Anyway.
We will be back next Sunday. I don't know, 7:30, 8:30. What time works for you?
I don't care. All depends. Sunday, I'm here.
All
So
right.
we're gonna come back at 8:30 because 8:30 seems like a good time. That way you don't have to rush
Well,
around
no,
because you
you
got to
don't
break
have a
it down.
9 o'clock bedtime. I'm old.
Okay, well you're not that old. You're not that old. And
Ladies and gentlemen,
you
it
know,
is my 60th year. And if God so favors me, I will be 60 this year. So
yeah, yeah. Well, you don't look 60.
bless your heart.
I was I
Well,
was told I was told at Mr. Ray's funeral that I look older than 57, and I'm still trying to deal with that.
oh my gosh. It's the beard. It's the
It's the
ZZ
beard.
top
It's the
of
beard.
it.
And I was standing next to Dad and all his friends. So I was standing next to guys that were 80 years old with this beard, which is great beard. So the guy thought, you go, well, I'm 57. You thought I sound older than 57? Because yeah, I'm like, I'm still trying to deal with that.
Process it, process it. Oh well. Well, we will be dealing with you guys next Sunday night, 8:30. Until then, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living peace.
Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.